Desperate kids as young as 7 breaking into businesses to steal food in Northern Territory town. Primary school-aged children in a remote Northern Territory town are so hungry they break into businesses just to find food, federal ministers have heard. It was one of the many shocking revelations Social Services Minister Tehan and Indigenous Affairs Minister Nigel Scullion were confronted with during their overnight visit to Tennant Creek on Tuesday. They met with police and service providers to address social issues in the troubled outback town in the wake of the child protection crisis sparked by the rape of a 2-year-old girl in February. The federal government has come under fire in recent months for its perceived lack of interest in addressing the town's child protection crisis. The Territory Families Department recently revealed that out of 15 children who have been taken into care since February, 12 were from Tennant Creek. The ministers were told children as young as 7 were desperate for food, and some as young as 10 were learning how to drive cars so they can smash them into shop fronts to get something to eat. They go in and there's nothing damaged except for where they've entered perhaps, and they've taken food. Sometimes they've just sat at the table and eaten that food, and then they've left. NT Education Department Barkley Regional Manager Lynette English told Sky News afterwards. The ones aged 7-11 are the ones I'm familiar with. Police Assistant Commissioner Michael White told the ministers that young children were increasingly committing more serious crimes. Young people are now escalating their behavior very quickly to stealing cars, and our experience in Alice Springs is they're going from stealing bikes to doing ram raids in a very short time frame for a 10 or 11-year-old, he said. Mr. Scullion said fixing the problems began with ensuring children went to school. If you're not waltzing with the education system, you'll be waltzing with the justice system pretty shortly, he told the meeting. Mr. Tehan and Mr. Scullion spent the night in Tennant Creek, where they saw a number of kids roaming on the streets. They were told by community night patrol volunteers that the figure triples on Friday and Saturday nights. Mr. Tehan described what he saw as confronting. What particularly struck me was the young ages we're dealing with, he told Sky News. These are children who are aged 10 and under out after 10 p.m. and that's something that needs to be addressed. The ministers also met with Barkley Regional Council to discuss a range of issues including a regional deal that would focus on the preparation of a social and economic development plan to bring greater coordination and collaboration between the federal and state governments and the council. Mayor Steve Edgington described the meeting as a positive and constructive discussion.